Hello and welcome to Frontrunner Motorsport, and today we are looking at the 7th race of the 3rd season of Formula E. This is in our Let's Watch Formula E all the way through from season 1 to maybe present day. I might stop a little bit before. But today we are looking at the 7th race, the first race at Berlin, because there are 2, and we do actually have some driver changes for this one. Stefan Sarrazin has switched from Venturi and moved over to Techeetah. That is in place of Esteban Gutierrez, who will never race in Formula E again as of 2024. Taking his place is Tom Dillman, who did race at the last race, but we do have Mara Engel and Loic Duval back in their respective roles. So it's a little bit different, not all that different. Every driver has competed in at least one race in 2017. And with that, let's jump into the ongoing battles between Sebastian Buemi and Lucas Di Grassi at Berlin.
Is that not just you at home can hear the lights, can hear the music, but so can the drivers. Away they go. And a very good start from the second row. Really quick getaway from Felix Rosenqvist, and then Heidfeld's up in the third. He's trying to defend. The two DS Virgin purple cars get together, and look at Daniel Ack, the second green and gold car, up the inside as well, being very bold there. And everybody has survived the first corner, but Di Grassi's lead is intact. And then the two Mahindras, they started really well, Dario.
Very defensive there by Jean-Eric Verne. This is one of the real tight spots of the track, but a terrible, terrible start for Lopez. He's gone back a good few spots.
Well, we saw that in Hong Kong as well. He didn't get off the line well. Also bumped wheels with Sam Bird, and that ended up with him in the barriers. Look further back, further back, further back for the blue car of Sebastian Buemi. Still below the top 12, on board with Sam Bird, chasing his teammate in those purple DS Virgin cars.
And Buemi really has made no progress so far. The key now is he hasn't. Don't panic.
Yeah, the key is he's still got all the bits attached to the car, and that's not beyond the, that's not always the way when you're down deep in the pack. And our leader, Lucas Di Grassi, is really under pressure immediately from street fighting man Felix Rosenqvist. The end of the first of 44 laps here.
So, end of lap 1, another clean start. And this is a complete reversal from the Paris E-Prix that we had previously. It's the Audis up front and the Edams back in the field this time, and we'll see if it plays out similarly to what happened at Paris. Also, again, the Mahindras and Lopez are right up the front of the field. They are really in form at the moment. I'm really impressed with Mahindra especially, because if you look at them nowadays, they really struggle to score points, but 3rd season of Formula E, they were really on it, and I'm looking forward to see what they can do in this race.
And again, there is another race tomorrow, so he doesn't want to abandon all hope here. He wants to get that car running. Felix Rosenqvist going faster now.
Da Costa looks
4 laps down. We'll change the aero of the car to high aero.
Okay, so they're going for the fast lap points.
Yeah,
there you go.
Da Costa in P19. He looks like he's going for a slightly different strategy if possible. Is he going to try and go 1 lap longer than everybody else? That only works if you're close enough to take advantage of it.
And his teammate Robin Friens as well, 18th and 19th here. They've got to try something, Dario. Right now, doing what the leaders do gets them nothing, so they've got to gamble, and gamble early.
On the left of your screen, you see the energy levels in the batteries. Those will gradually go down, and the drivers have to manage that using regen all the way to the switchover point.
And as they're driving around, we're talking about a beep in the ear, in their earphones inside their ears. When the cars now, when they have a simulation that tells them when the best time to regen is to make the figures.
All very sensible so far, but once again we're seeing that if you have one of the top drivers in one of the top cars back in the middle of the field, it's very difficult for him to make progress. Buemi hasn't even really made a move yet. Nico Prost, his teammate, on the other hand, has had a couple of squirrely moments. He's kind of gone out wide. He's survived, he hasn't really lost any places, so it's not really affecting him. But he's definitely on the edge of traction at the moment. Other than that, Di Grassi leads. Rosenqvist is keeping him company and has set the fastest lap, so the Mahindras are definitely quick and looking for victory this time.
Nick Heidfeld set the fastest lap of anyone in the race. Now, we think he's holding up Jose Maria Lopez. Apparently not so much.
He's got to move. Buemi's trying to go past.
Yes, it's a long send down the inside into the hairpin. He telegraphed that way in advance to avoid any damage.
Yeah, no, he did a good job there with that move. Sarazan obviously played well and didn't try to do a late defense or anything.
So Buemi up to 12th. I've been watching the Visa Fast Lap standings, Martin, and you just mentioned Nick Heidfeld set fastest lap. 4 different drivers in the first 6 laps had their grip on that Visa Fast Lap Championship bonus point.
Now, traditionally, of course, we'd expect the cars to get faster as the fuel load burns off. You don't get that with electrons, so that's not an issue. What will happen is that the tyres will start to wear. Somebody's been in the wall. Now that's... Has it been in the right front?
That's Mitch.
Oh, that's Mitch.
Yeah, he's laps and laps, but he's just getting out of the way.
Yeah, staying out of everybody's way. Fan boost has been confirmed for car number 9, Sebastian Buemi. Car number 66, his Daniel Abt, rather, and car number 11, his teammate Lucas Di Grassi. So both of the...
We finally get a move. Buemi gets past Stefan Sarazan pretty easily. It was a very open move. Sarazan didn't fight it too hard, which is very sensible. Di Grassi still leads out in front. We got the fan boost results, which were Di Grassi, Abt and Buemi, which it practically has been at every race this year, which really shows how pointless fan boost was. You might as well just start off by giving it to Buemi, Di Grassi and Abt. They always seem to get it.
Then that puts pressure on Di Grassi. Because obviously Di Grassi's leading the race. There's nothing else he can do. But if he finishes and look back and there's Buemi, he's going to be pretty disappointed.
Yes, every move Buemi makes up into the points is fewer that Di Grassi is closing the gap. And so it's damage limitation today for Sebastian Buemi. And for Frins and Da Costa in Amelin Andretti, they've had to do something, anything, because they didn't have speed in qualifying and free practice. And it looks like they're going to try and go 1, maybe even 2 laps further. Look in front, Loic Duval in 17th place. We're looking at him there. He's got 52% usable energy. Da Costa had 60. Now that's got to be worth 2 laps.
About 4% a lap, we think, yeah. I would say about 4% a lap, so yeah. So what's the plan though? As I say, you've got to be close enough to take advantage. It's pointless saying, oh, I can do 5 more laps, 20 seconds back. And there's Lucas Di Grassi just, the fans are liking it, but Di Grassi's just heading off on his, his merry way here, doing a great job.
We are a quarter of the way through the race. Di Grassi has pulled out a lead in the front. Buemi has made a couple of moves up the field. He has passed Ambrosio. He's getting close to Turvey. Nico Prost likewise has moved past Mara Engel. At least in this race we are seeing things happening, things we didn't see at the Paris E-Prix. So it's pretty exciting so far.
Done wonders for his...
It's going to become a trend.
On that subject, on the grid, I mean, he's limping, but there's a move from Nelson Piquet.
Yep, sent it early up the inside.
Past Adam Carroll on the Jag. Is Adam going to go back through? No.
Well, Carroll got past him earlier in the race, didn't he? And there's the replay.
Going back to Lucas's ankle. It's swollen up already. His problem's going to be, not pain probably, his problem's going to be as it swells up more, feeling the throttle, being able to modulate the throttle because he'll lose feeling in it. And
big ambition being shown there. Wow, that was fantastic. Stefan Sarazan sending it in every way up the inside of Jerome D'Ambrosio, who just whipped the cape out of the way and let him go charging by.
He defended very heavily from Nelson Piquet.
Yeah.
Nelson's going to be thinking, really? Come on, man.
And of course, lots of tyre scrub, he'll run out wide, lots of dirt and debris on the tyres. Not so much debris around the side of the track. The marbles that we saw in season 1 here, the first time in Tempelhof, not so evident here.
And we haven't even talked about the tyre wear yet. The traction's going to be getting worse. The car's going to be sliding more and braking. It's going to be easier to make a mistake as this race goes on. We've still got 31 laps to go.
Long cruise and coast down there into the corner.
So far, Berlin has proved to be a lot more overtaking friendly than Paris was. The track layout is far superior. It's a little bit wider. It's still dirty offline, so it's not super easy. But we are seeing cars being able to get side by side without anyone hitting walls or spinning or crashing into each other. We've seen a couple of good moves. Piquet has just moved past Carroll. Sarazan went for the big send and it didn't quite go his way. He actually lost a place, but it was a fun attempt at a move at least. And We are still not seeing major progress from the EDAMS cars. Buemi is still in 11th, but the field is still quite tightly packed, and plenty more could happen in Berlin.
As it goes into regen, the tone of the engine changes. That's the tone of the motor changes, should I say, and that's when they're regenning. You'll hear it's quite different. And each car sounds a little bit different too now as they've all gone to their own powertrain.
Riding with Nelson Piquet up to 14th place. He's shaken off Adam Carroll's Jaguar, now all over the back of Jerome D'Ambrosio's Faraday Future car. And Lucas Di Grassi, the gap is coming down from Felix Rosenqvist in 2nd place, isn't it? He's down from 1.3 to 1.2 seconds this time round. Di Grassi opens up a little more down the straight. It was 1.0 at the end of timing sector 2, 1.2 seconds at the line. But Rosenqvist is noticeably closing. He's got a fraction more usable power, maybe half a lap's worth, maybe not even that much.
We are nearing the pit stop phase of this race. We're nearly halfway through. There has been some good action on track, plenty of close battles. The gap is a little bit spread out between some of the top drivers, but there are little pockets of battles going on around the track. Buemi has made up a couple more places and has done so fairly easily. He's now trying to close the gap to his teammate, although the gap is quite large. Di Grassi is still up front, but Rosenqvist is just behind him and keeping him honest. We have battles outside the top 10 as well. Sarrazin has passed Ambrosio, with Nelson Piquet really close behind him. Still not going great for Dragon this season. They must be really disappointed, but Sarrazin in the Techeetah looks like he's having a really good race. And it's going to be interesting to see if the pit stops shake anything up, if Buemi can gain more ground during the pit stops.
Yeah, no kidding. That's Felix Rosenqvist's
You heard it there.
If you see the gap, go for it.
The question is he going to see the gap in turn 1? Lucas is going defensive. Look, already defensive. Yeah, do the same. Is Rosenqvist going round? He's done it.
Goes right by him.
Yeah.
There you go. He was waiting for the cruising coast, and now he's going to hold him up all the way to the pit lane.
You know that 1% of extra energy?
There you go.
Just used it to do that. Yeah. Nice. Very nice. Rosenqvist is learned very quickly about driving a Formula E car.
We have a change for the lead. Rosenqvist just swoops around the outside of Di Grassi right before the pit stops. And those pyrotechnics through that tunnel are really getting on my nerves.
And he'll be pitting this lap.
So Sandberg, the big loser on the back of this queue. In comes Da Costa, and it is dusty as you like on that entry race.
He's on the line. Will he get? Will there be an issue because he was on that line separating pit entry from the exit of the track?
In he swings. He'll leap into the second car. We are on lap 25. Everybody else stopped 2 laps ago. He will have more usable power, but is it even going to be enough to get him into the points? He's going to have to really pick them off in the closing stages, and that was a gamble that didn't work that well in Hong Kong.
And these guys can afford to be a bit more aggressive with this car. You know, 1 lap shorter, they can just give it just that little bit more. And we see the heads-up display.
Not much changed during the pit stops. We still have Rosenqvist, Di Grassi and Heidfeld as the top 3, but Sandberg was the big loser. He dropped down to 8th from 5th. Nico Prost has jumped him and Daniel Abt, so it's worked out for some, not for others. Buemi is closing in on that pack as well, so that could get quite exciting in the next few laps.
Okay, there you go. So again, these other little, try and stay away for another 18%, and then he can't use the fan boost to get you.
Yeah.
Now what he might have to do is use the fan boost to get up behind you, and then use racing driving to try and get by.
I think earlier this year we saw Lucas Di Grassi miss out on the use of the fan boost because the battery power level went below 50%.
80.97. Be careful that he doesn't get too close.
Yeah, that's up to you there, Felix Olsson.
Yes, yes. If you need to coast a little bit less in G1, just do it to protect your position. Just do it.
There's a very good cat and mouse game going on out in front. Di Grassi is keeping Rosenqvist well within his sights, but behind him, Sebastian Buemi has moved past his teammate Daniel Abt in what was a far too easy overtake. I don't think Audi will be too happy with Daniel Abt on that one. So they are converging on each other. Di Grassi has dropped a few points after he lost the lead, and Buemi is gaining room as he makes his way up through the field. Ball is in Buemi's court right now, but we'll have to see how the last 15 laps pan out.
Way down the inside of Nico Prost, and the Frenchman's offline. Bam! Straight through is going Buemi as well.
Oh, absolutely.
So Buemi could pick up 2.
Big move. He's making it.
He likes that move down the inside into the hairpin.
A long way back. That was a lunge.
And when you're on the outside, there's no defence.
No, Sam Bird was nice though. He played his half minute and making the move happen. He didn't shut the door. He didn't do anything stupid, which he could have done, because that was a late move from Sebastian. It's one of those moves he thought about it, didn't do it, and then did it. And those are the ones that generally get you in trouble. Next car to pass, teammate Nico Prost.
Below 50% usable energy, so can't use fan boost
Nico
anymore.
Prost having a go.
He was having a real go at Jean-Eric Verne. Still no news of whether Verne will pick up a penalty. Whether he does or doesn't, if Buemi gets by, if Prost gets by, then that's all grist to the mill.
And are we going to see team orders here though?
Yeah,
I think he's going to let him through. Is that what they were saying? Or he's going to be close enough though, so Nico's going to be trying to go here. That's why he was trying to get past Jean-Eric Verne, because he doesn't want to have to let his teammate through.
Exactly right.
He will if he has to, but he's got to make it happen. He's going to make it happen these next couple of corners, or I have to say, I think Buemi's going to go past him in turn 9, his favourite spot, which is the next corner.
Lining him up already. Not close enough this time to send it down the inside, because he sends it from about turn 6.
He does. He telegraphs it, doesn't he?
You know, he sends him a letter, courier delivered, I'm coming.
Another fantastic move from Sebastian Buemi. He's really carving through this field. And now in front of him he has his teammate Nico Prost, who I'm sure will eventually move out of his way, and Jean-Eric Verne, who might get a penalty anyway because of an unsafe release. So it's really all going Buemi's way right now. And it's not really going de Grassi's way, because he's dropped off the back of Rosenqvist and is getting closed in on by Nick Heidfeld behind him. So it's becoming a tough race for the Brazilian.
There is a penalty, a time penalty for Jean-Eric Verne, so he won't come into the pits, but effectively he now plunges 5 seconds, 16.6 behind the leader to 21.6, so he will go down ahead of Maro Engel in 9th place.
Yeah, down actually more places,
So effectively, he's been moved to the back of this queue, so behind Daniel
Buemi's gained another spot then. Buemi is now P5.
14th to 5th, and he hasn't yet had to pass him.
I don't see anything.
It wasn't your fault, mate. It's they released you.
It's a joke.
Yeah, okay.
So, final 5 laps, and nothing's changed out in front. Rosenqvist has a handy lead over de Grassi and Heidfeld. Jose Maria Lopez is pretty comfortable in 4th, but the real action is the battle from 5th to 9th. Jean-Eric Verne is currently 5th, but has a 5-second penalty, which is going to relegate him to the back of his pack. Buemi has climbed up from 14th on the grid to what will be 5th. And behind him, he has his teammate Prost, Sam Bird, and Daniel Abt, all pretty close together, with Maro Engel somewhere miles behind. The last 5 laps, I think, will almost entirely be focused on this battle for 5th.
Engineer and I are on the same
Bit more
page.
toasting than usually, that's it. You've got 3 seconds, take it easy, take it easy. It's going to be a fantastic result.
Watch out, the energy in the finish line. Still 2 seconds behind you.
Yeah. Got to make sure you've
That's
got...
actually 3 seconds. Engineer's lying to drivers.
Yeah. It's like when your mother says, the bus is leaving in 5 minutes, that's 15, but it hurries you up.
He's got to cross the line with 1% energy.
Yes. And he will do it. In fact, de Grassi behind him and Heidfeld behind him had less energy as well. But the checkered flag awaits, and it is a monumental day for Felix Rosenqvist.
There we go, guys.
I guess, Swedish bastard, that you won the fucking race, man. Congratulations!
Well, I apologise for the use of English, but you can understand that. Felix Rosenqvist, 7 races into his Formula E career, wins the Berlin E-Prix here on Saturday, his first career Formula E win, and as well adjudged a race as you are going to see.
Yeah, just perfect. Let's see if we can talk to him.
A first Formula E win for Felix Rosenqvist, and a first Formula E win for Mahindra. So massive shout out to them, and a 3rd place for Nick Heidfeld as well. It was a very good race for the Indian team. Lucas de Grassi might be disappointed with 2nd, especially as Sebastian Buemi finished 5th. Except he didn't, because he was excluded from the results due to something to do with tyre pressures being wrong. It was a tyre pressure infringement of some kind. But that meant he did not score any points, and so Lucas di Grassi did indeed close the gap on Buemi in the championship standings. Behind them, you had a great race from Prost. Daniel Abt did well to score decent points. Sam Bird was up there. Mara Engel scored some points as well for Venturi. And Oliver Turvey managed to squeak into the points for Neo. So, with that all done and over with, I will say this Berlin E-Prix, the first one of two, was a pretty decent race. There wasn't any crashes, if you didn't notice. And it was still much more exciting than the Paris E-Prix before it, mostly because overtaking was much easier. I think Buemi starting from the midfield in Berlin was much less of a penalty than it was for di Grassi. As we saw, di Grassi made a lot of mistakes in the Paris E-Prix. He had a couple of crashes and there were other moments of contact. This one, Buemi really pulled off quality overtake after quality overtake to climb all the way up to 5th. It's a shame he lost it in the end, but it was still a superb drive, and it keeps the championship wide open. And with that, let's look at the teams and drivers' standings after the first Berlin E-Prix of 2017. Edams still lead the championship, but Abt Audi have closed up, as have Mahindra surprisingly, who are having a great season. Virgin and Neo round out the top 5. Sebastian Buemi still leads the championship, but Lucas di Grassi has closed up the deficit to just 22 points. Nico Prost hangs on in 3rd, but Felix Rosenqvist is just behind him with 65 points. And Nick Heidfeld in the other Mahindra is 5th. So they are the scores. There is another Berlin race coming up, probably released tomorrow, maybe the day after. So make sure you subscribe to the channel so you don't miss that. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Thank you very much for watching, and have a good one.